300 meters down. The light is already gone. The pressure alone could crack a human ribcage. And a sperm whale, the one animal every predator in this ocean has learned to leave alone, just did something no other target would even attempt. It kept going, not fleeing in a panic, not fighting, just descending calmly into a world where nothing chasing it can follow. Above, somewhere in the last of the light, an orca, the undisputed king of this ocean, a killer that fears nothing, has just hit a wall it cannot cross. This is the blackfish, the killer whale, the animal that hunts seals, great whites, and even entire blue whales. It is, without argument, the most feared predator in the sea. But there is one animal it consistently, deliberately leaves alone. A slow, awkward-shaped, thick-bodied whale that can't outswim a rowboat. So why does the ocean's most efficient killer avoid the one target that should be easy? The obvious answer is size. Sperm whales are enormous, nearly 50 feet long, up to 45 tons of solid muscle and blubber. Next to an orca, which weighs around 7 tons, it looks like an unfair fight before it even starts. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's just too big to bother with. Except that doesn't hold up. Orcas hunt blue whales. A blue whale can weigh over 150 tons, more than 3 times the weight of a sperm whale, and nearly double the length. If a pod of orcas will take down a 150-ton giant, a 45-ton sperm whale should, on paper, be far easier. Size alone isn't the answer. Something else is going on. The real difference isn't what the sperm whale weighs. It's what it does when it's attacked. A blue whale, when it's ambushed, has exactly one strategy: run. It's built for speed in a straight line, and its entire survival plan depends on outlasting the orcas until they simply give up and swim off elsewhere. It never fights back. It can't. All that size, and none of it is used as a weapon, because a blue whale physically isn't built to use it that way. A sperm whale is built completely differently. It's slow. It has zero chance of ever outrunning an orca in open water. And because it knows this, because running was never an option, it doesn't try. Instead, everything about its body and its behavior is built around a different kind of defense entirely. Start with the head. A full third of a sperm whale's body is just head, and inside that head isn't a bigger brain, despite popular belief. It's an organ called the spermaceti, packed with hundreds of gallons of dense, waxy oil. For years, scientists believed sperm whales could control blood flow to this organ and actually cool the oil on command, hardening it until the entire front of the skull became something close to a battering ram. Structurally, this checks out. The skull's density is extreme enough that a full-speed collision from a 45-ton whale could seriously injure or kill an orca outright. But here's the twist: this almost never happens. Ramming is rare, not because it wouldn't work, but because it's rarely necessary. An orca can see a sperm whale coming from miles away. Most confrontations never reach that point. Instead, when a threat actually appears, sperm whales rely on something far smarter than brute force. Sperm whales don't live alone. They live in tight, matriarchal family units: mothers, aunts, grandmothers, all bonded together, all fiercely protective of the young. So when a pod of orcas targets a calf, they're not just facing one frightened animal. They're facing an entire defensive unit that has done this before. This is where the Marguerite Formation comes in, and it might be the single most effective defensive maneuver in the entire ocean. The adult females arrange themselves into a tight circle, calves pushed into the very center, completely shielded. Then every adult turns to face outward, away from the calves, directly toward the threat. When the orcas move in, the whales begin thrashing their massive tails in unison, turning the edge of that circle into what can only be described as a wall of blunt, crushing force. A meat grinder aimed entirely outward. Orcas are exceptionally intelligent, but sperm whales match that intelligence in social coordination and completely outclass them in raw physical violence at close range. Attacking a healthy, grouped pod isn't just risky. It's close to a death sentence for any orca foolish enough to try it. So the real question becomes, what happens when a sperm whale is caught alone? To understand the answer, you have to understand something orcas can never escape. They need air constantly, and they can't go far to get away from that need. Orcas are surface predators, fast, agile, built for hunting in relatively shallow water. But their dives are short, a few minutes, at most a few hundred meters, before their lungs start screaming and their bodies begin working against them. Sperm whales are the opposite. Diving thousands of meters into total darkness isn't an emergency escape for them. It's simply how they eat every single day. Their bodies are engineered for exactly the environment that would kill an orca in minutes. So if a lone sperm whale is caught without its family nearby, without the option to form a Marguerite Formation, it has one move left, and it's devastatingly simple. It dives, straight down, thousands of meters, into a pressure zone and a darkness an orca cannot follow into and survive. The orcas might try to chase for the first few hundred meters, but their lungs give out, the pressure becomes unbearable, and the whale simply vanishes into the black. Sperm whales can hold their breath roughly 5 times longer than an orca. In total darkness, that's not a small advantage. It's an entire different world the orca can never enter. If your only real predator physically cannot survive where you live, you are, for all practical purposes, untouchable, even without ever throwing a punch. And this is where the story gets even stranger, because everything discussed so far applies mainly to female sperm whales, the ones that live and travel in tight-knit pods. Adult male sperm whales, the bulls, don't. They live alone. No formation, no family circle, no group defense of any kind. And they don't need one. Sperm whales show extreme differences between males and females, enough that they almost look like separate species. A female is already massive. A fully grown bull is something else entirely, up to 60 feet long and as much as 65 tons, nearly 3 times the size of a female, and comfortably outweighing an entire pod of 10 adult orcas combined. There is functionally nothing in the modern ocean capable of seriously challenging a healthy adult bull sperm whale. Nothing, that is, except us, and we don't exactly fight fair either. So knowing all this, do orcas ever actually try? Against the bulls, essentially never. But against the rest of the population, in rare, desperate circumstances, they do. Orcas never pick a fair fight when they can avoid it. Instead, they hunt for weakness, a whale that's already injured, one that's become separated from its pod, or, worst case, a calf that's wandered too far from the protective circle. Even then, the math is brutal against them. A normal orca pod of 5 to 10 individuals stands almost no chance against even a weakened adult sperm whale. To actually pull it off, orcas have to merge multiple pods into a single superpod of 30 or more, sustain the attack for hours, rotate exhausted attackers in and out, and absorb serious injuries along the way. And even a fully successful bite often accomplishes very little. Sperm whale blubber runs up to 14 inches thick in places, a dense, rubbery layer that an orca's roughly 4-inch bite simply cannot punch through to reach anything vital. No major organs, no major blood vessels. The teeth just stop in the fat. Orcas will aim for weaker points instead: fins, exposed sides, anything that limits the whale's ability to surface and breathe. But there is no version of this fight where 5 bites, or 10, or even 50 ended outright. It becomes a war of attrition, death by 1,000 cuts, played out over hours, which raises an obvious question. If it's this hard, why would an orca ever bother? Compare a sperm whale to something like a blue whale or a humpback. Those are, in essence, massive filter-feeding machines, animals that swim in straight lines and swallow enormous volumes of krill. That kind of feeding doesn't require much strategy. Sperm whales are different. They hunt actively, in complete darkness, often battling giant squid thousands of meters down, and they coordinate real, structured social defense when threatened. That kind of life demands real intelligence, and it shows. Studies suggest orcas are likely somewhat more intelligent than sperm whales, but not by a wide margin. This isn't a story of a genius predator versus a mindless target. It's closer to 2 highly intelligent species, each fully capable of recognizing when a fight simply isn't worth having. And it's worth remembering, sperm whales didn't develop these defenses because of orcas. Orcas, on the evolutionary timeline, are a relatively recent problem. Millions of years ago, the ancestors of modern sperm whales shared the ocean with far more terrifying predators, Megalodon and Livyatan, an ancient whale-eating predator built specifically to hunt animals like them. Compared to that, a pod of orcas is a familiar, manageable threat, not a new one. None of this is meant to suggest orcas aren't powerful or that they aren't true apex predators. They are, without question. The point is simply that even the ocean's most feared hunter isn't unstoppable, and a sperm whale isn't some fragile, helpless giant waiting to be picked apart. It's not that orca pods are terrified of sperm whales, trembling at the mere sight of them. It's that they're cautious, genuinely, deliberately cautious, in a way you rarely see them behave toward almost anything else in the ocean. And that caution is its own kind of answer. Why would you risk a fight you might only have a coin flip chance of winning? One that could leave you with a shattered jaw or a broken spine that ends your ability to hunt entirely, when there are seals and great whites out there you can take down with near total certainty instead. A sperm whale was never worth that risk. Not because it's weak, because it's exactly strong enough, exactly defended enough, exactly dangerous enough, that even the ocean's most feared killer knows better than to find out for sure.